Hello there, welcome to a new video for Rimworld. In this one I got 10 tips and tricks for beginners and people who are new to the game. This list is filled with things that are relatively easy to pick up and to understand and will have a pretty good impact on your early game experience. So let's get started with number 1. Here I want to talk a little bit about skills that you want to have on your colony. I recommend only 2 skills as a must-have. And for one, that's somebody who's passionate about construction and features a skill of at least 5, and somebody who's passionate about plants. The end. Everything else I consider rather optional. Sure, you will have your problems with certain things, like if you have no good cook, you will have food poisonings all day. If you have a low crafting, your items will suck, and so on and so forth. But construction makes sure you can't build everything you want in a decent amount of time, and plants make sure your people won't starve. These 2 things are quite vital. As a third thing, I would recommend you to have a certain amount of medical skill in everybody, but also that is quite optional. Construction and plants are, in my humble opinion, the 2 things that have the highest impact. Fighting skills are cool to have as well. Alright, number 2 is regarding the starting traits. Here again, I'm making things very, very easy. Avoid just 2 things early on. People who are incapable of caring because they can't doctor each other, that sucks quite hard, and people who are incapable of violence because it is pretty cool if everybody can fight early on, especially since combat in Rimworld is something you'll have to get used to in a total bigger picture. So having one of your folks being unable to fight is quite a hard task early on, and I'd strongly recommend it not to pick up. All the other traits, well, go crazy. They are fun. They are interesting, and none of them really breaks the game or anything horrible in that regard. Pyromaniacs are a little bit annoying, but actually you just need to draft somebody behind them and let them babysit for a while until they are okay again. It's way less bad than it sounds. Number 3 regards productions, and it's, in a nutshell, food is the most important resource in your colony. So that means take care of having lots of it by producing lots of it. So I highly recommend to slap out growing zones. You find them here in the zoning menu. Early on, as many as you see fit. Are they too large? Don't care. It doesn't matter if you have too much food. You'll notice one thing if you don't have enough food. So if you are in doubt, just place it down. As you have enough people who are good at plants, it's gonna be no problem. And in a grand total, it is pretty good to have too much food. You can trade it. You'll get a feeling for it, how many fields you need, how many fields you want. It is way better to have too much. Also, when it comes down to meat, meat goes bad quite quickly. Produce and vegetables, they don't. They last pretty long even without refrigeration. So if you want to make meat longer lasting, either build yourself a freezer with coolers or you produce pemmican. That makes the stuff also go very, very long on the shelf. Okay, so that's number 3. Take care of food. I really recommend to have high food stockpiles. Number 4, don't waste your medicine. One of the worst things to do early on is to use those valuable blue medicine kits on the first occasion. So you can assign people to medicine, and the easiest way to do this is herbal medicine, and then you just hold down your left mouse key and drag and drop it downwards. So it's now assigned to everybody. You can also assign doctor caring, but no medicine if you don't want to use medicine at all. I don't recommend it, but in a nutshell, your people don't need medicine to treat wounds. They just treat the wounds better if they have medicine. So if ever anybody goes seriously ill, like having a flu or an infection or anything, you can assign them the good medicine for a while, and after that, unassign it. These medicine packs, they are darned valuable. Don't waste them. Always use them wisely. Everything better than herbal medicine should be used with care. They are really, really good resources, and you should buy them whenever you have the opportunity and enough money to spare. So number 5 regards something about colony building. Take care of bedrooms for everybody as quick as possible. If you don't manage a bedroom for everybody, you can also build up a barracks. So that means one room, many beds, but people hate that. It'll be bad for their mood. So these here, this environment is an ideal. So you have a dresser, you have a end table, you have flooring, you have a bed. This is what makes people quite happy. The larger you make these rooms, the happier they grow. But if you don't do this, their morale will break rather quickly. Having no room weighs hard on them. What's also weighing quite hard on them is if they have no tables to eat at. So take care that there is some place with chairs and a table, because this breaks morale as well. It's a Rimworld meme, hating to eat without tables, but you really got to take care of these two things and your people will break down much less. And as you see here, a wooden flooring goes quickly down and it does the job. Stone flooring doesn't burn, but it takes a lot longer to build. So that's been number 5. Let's go for number 6. Number 6 is regarding combat. The best way to fight your enemy is to shoot them, period. So melee is kind of inferior in this game, as it proposes always the risk that the person who's fighting is going to be maimed in one way or another. Whenever in Rimworld somebody gets wounded, there is a chance of a scar remaining, of a limb being severed, of a finger being crushed, of the list goes on and on. And ideally in combat, try to avoid people getting wounded at all. What I also like to use are corridors like these, which force the enemy through traps. Here again, I avoid contact with the enemy entirely. Here I have a shooting range, and when you can, shoot the enemy, because that negates the chance of people getting maimed. But in the end, everybody will get maimed sooner or later, because that's just the way our Rimworld goes. But this way you can delay it. The prosthetics bonanza. Okay, that's been number 6. Number 7, wall of your base. So as you see here, I have drawn a quite complete perimeter around my base, and I highly recommend you to do that one way or another, one time or another. You don't have to pull up stone walls directly. You can also go wooden walls. Just be aware of the fact that they'll burn. So if there's gonna be a dry lightning storm or anything, they can't burn away. Stone walls are more permanent. Why is that so important? This way you can control where the enemy will enter your base. You will know that the enemy can only enter here, but when walling off yourself, one prime directive, leave an opening. Otherwise, the game will try everything it can to crack open your fortress, and you lose the advantage of knowing where your enemy will enter your base. A choke point like that is pretty ideal. This way, the enemy is forced through the traps and is greeted by my gunfire. You can optimize these setups tremendously. This is a very, very simple thing, but it goes a long way in keeping you alive. And now on to number 8, and that's beware animal herds. So when you go hunting, stuff like that is highly dangerous, because these have a built-in chance of attacking you when they're harmed. That means if I shoot this guy and he decides to be angry at me, his buddies will also all go angry at me. And I've lost entire colonies due to that. Because if you are not ready for a stampede of buffaloes, wild boars, whatever can go aggro when you fire at it, it can be mayhem. So handle it with care and take it seriously. Have a plan B, like a trader caravan that can take fire for you. Whatever. But animal herds, they can be really dangerous. Don't shoot them lightly, alright? Number 9 is regarding a simple way of creating power, and that's wind power. If you start with a crash landed background, all you need to do is put up a research table and research batteries, build a few of those, connect them with power conduits, everything together, and then you have a pretty good power source for the early game. Wind turbines, as you see here, can be placed parallel to or opposite to each other. They don't block each other, and you can also top it off with solar panel technology. So as you see here, these solar panels, they also don't hinder the wind turbines. So this is a really easy way of setting up your power, and you don't need any fuel. Furthermore, produces a decent amount, and all you need to do is slap up a few extra batteries or solar generators or wind turbines. Just take care that there's no trees in the way, because they don't like that. Also, no walls and no roofs. Number 10 is the last one. Remember, this game is hard, and it takes long until you have really learned everything, and therefore don't take it too hard if you lose a game. It only means that you have another chance of building a new colony. If you mind losing, though, there's always a way of loading the game. Also, you can always go in the options here and modify your storyteller settings. There is no shame in playing in a peaceful world. You can even customize the settings completely to your own playstyle. I personally am a player. I like losing at some point because it puts an ending point to the story and opens up a new one. But it is a sandbox game, therefore, your game, your rules, and adapt them if you ever hate how things go. The storyteller settings give you a really, really wide approach to modifying the game to your own liking. You can disable friendly fire, instant kills, all manner of different things. Just browse through the menu. It's pretty awesome. Okay, that's been the list for beginners. I hope you found that helpful. And feel free to leave me your comment. Feel free to leave other tips and tricks for beginners, because I love complete lists. And leave a thumbs up on that video if you enjoyed. Consider subscribing. I'd be delighted if you did so. And have a wonderful day.